Okay, I have a 2006 Ford 6.0 liter engine here. I'm going to be installing a rear seal on this, and I have the new seal here, and it states to not put any lubrication on this, said it must be installed dry. This is the other part of the seal here, and so I've got a going to be using a 6-sided 5/8 to get these loose, and I like to number these as to where they came from, so I put them back in the same spot. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll work on removing these bolts here. Okay, so we've also put us a mark on here, so we put this back exactly where it goes. So this is ready to come off now. We'll just set our bolts aside. Okay, so now we're just going to work on seeing about how to get this off. Okay, so the next thing I've done is I took these 10mm bolts out of these locations here all around, you can see there, and I'm just carefully popping this whole piece off here next, and the seal of course is just going to pull right through there. So that's what we're doing right now. Okay, and with that off there, we can actually see the back side of our high pressure pump there and how this all works, how it's driven off of this. And then it also reveals this seal that we have to replace back here. So, and there was a little bit more oil in there. That's why it's good to have some cardboard down, because it just seems like it just keeps leaking. So we're just gonna clean this up a little bit, and I'm gonna see about how to get this seal off and get this piece off here. Okay, on this piece I'm using a Chrysler puller here. You can rent these from the parts stores. I know that, like I said, AutoZone has these, and if you're not familiar, it's just you got a bolt and you got a rod that goes in the center of that bolt. You got various links too, and it just goes in and seats in that center of that crankshaft, and I'm just using these hooks, so I've got it centered up, locked on there, and then we're just going to turn this what is 15/16 here, and it's just going to pull this piece, and you can see it pulling this right here, and see we just got it loose right there. So you will have to have a puller to do this, and this I guess you could probably use another puller, but this is the one that I felt more comfortable with. So like I said, you got a locating pin too, so when you put this back you don't have to worry about putting it on wrong. So now with that off, we can go ahead and finally slide this off, and said it didn't appear to be leaking too terrible, but it had a little bit of leakage. So we're going to go ahead and get our new one into place now, and I was just looking at this, it kind of looks a little bit different than that replacement, but we're going to clean this up a little bit first here. Okay, so we've cleaned this surface up real good and cleaned around this real good, and we have took and set our seal on. We put a couple dabs of silicone at those junctions, and we've just set this on here. They've got some little nubs right there where my silicone is that kind of lines this up. So we're just getting ready to set this plate on here now, and after we get this on, then we'll put our seal on here. Okay, and if you have a little trouble getting these dowels back here to line up, you can just tap it with the rubber mallet just a little bit and get it on there. So we're going to go ahead and get our 10 millimeters back in here. And we've got, so we've got 2, 4, so about 8 of these things. So we're going to go ahead and get these all around and get these torqued down. Okay, so we're going to be going 18 foot-pounds on all these right here, these 8. Okay, and with that in place, we can finally work on tapping this back on. And per the instructions, it says to put it on dry. Don't put any lube or anything. So I've got a little plastic ring here somewhere I'm going to use to tap it on there. It came with it. So we're just going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, and this is this little plastic ring I was talking about. I'm just holding it on there and just tapping around it evenly. Okay, I've got it seated down all nice and flush, and after a bit I switched over to my rubber mallet. I found it to work a little better tapping around that thing. So now we're going to go ahead and get ready to set this ring on, and it lines up with that pin right there and just centers up, and we're just going to get that set on there. I think what I'll do, I may try to tap it on, or I may just get the bolts started and pull it on there nice and straight with those bolts. But you can see it just sits right on that pin and lines it up. So I think we're just going to go ahead and set the flywheel on now and just kind of bolt these together. Okay, so we're getting ready to get our bolts in our flywheel here, and you'll notice I've got a different flywheel. The one that was on here had some teeth messed up, so I took it off my other motor, so I had to change plans there. But so I'm going to be using some of this medium Loctite, and we're just going to go through here and get all these bolts in, then we'll work on torquing them down. Okay, I'm just zigzagging and tightening these by hand, and we're pulling that little inner hub back into its place again. It's kind of a press fit, and then once we get that, we'll start the torquing process. Okay, our first round is going to be 44 foot-pounds, and so we're just going to be working in a star pattern, kind of working and zigzagging. Okay, now our final pass, we're going to be going 69 foot-pounds instead of just working in a star pattern. Okay, and after I did that last pass at 69 foot-pounds, I went all the way back around and just double checked each and every one of them. So with that, we're all finished up here, and we have got a new rear seal on here, and also sealed that rear plate there, so hopefully no leaks there. And like I said, hopefully this has been helpful, and thank y'all for watching.